PPT. Apa medical open? Oh, mother, I'm this.
Pendrive.
You open my pen drive, click on the right side, and there is an option sort by date or name or size. You click sort by date, right?
Okay.
My PPT will come on the top.
Today,
Today,
how does this?
after the different PPT, then open the document, nothing else right now. Just see it is opening. PPT there is no gap.
Alone, we can do little. Together, we can do so much. Helen Kelly. A very good morning to one and all present here. I welcome you all to the Founders Day seminar on standardization of products useful to individuals with disability and way forward. Let's begin the program with a prayer song.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय नमस्तच्छाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीगणयाय धीमहि गणेशानाय बालतन्त्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
Thank you, dear students. I now request the dignitaries on the stage to light the room. Thank you, dignitaries. I now request Kalaimamari Dr. Lata Rajendran ma'am to welcome the gathering.
Good morning. Bharat Ratna Dr. M.G. Ramachandran's concern for persons with speech and hearing impairment has been the basis for establishing Dr. MGR Home and High Secondary School for the speech and hearing impaired. Dr. MGR Institute of Special Education and Research has been started with the aim of equipping teachers with the resources to ensure effective teaching for the differently abled children. This seminar is therefore a homage to the noble vision of the founder who visualized a comfortable life for persons who are differently able. Every year, a seminar is held on relevant topics, and special educators and the support system meets up to deliberate on several issues of concern. People across the planet have to partner for peace and prosperity. In Tamil Nadu's march to prosperity, we shall leave no one behind, is a prominent slogan of the present government of Tamil Nadu, echoing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. SDG 10 aims at reducing inequalities. Of the different kinds of inequalities that exist, we take up the objective of reducing inequalities that exist because of disabilities. The objective of reducing inequalities that exist because of disabilities, ways of addressing this through the use of aids and equipment and accessories that enable equal access to all. Providing equality of opportunity for people with disabilities and making it possible for them to participate and collaborate instead of segregating them is the true spirit of inclusion. Making sure everyone feels valued and respected must be top priority, and every action towards this is a progress in collective responsibility. Creating an agency for the disabled, then, is a very important task, and towards this, physical and digital platforms have to be optimized so that accessibility to education, skill development, communication, representation, and empowerment in every way is possible. Be it hearing aids, wheelchairs, ultrasonic walking sticks, or hugging chairs, artificial limbs, or any assistive aid. Ways and means to procure these at the best prices and quality demands the focus and effort of all of us who believe inclusivity is the way to move forward. It is with this intent that today's seminar, standardization of products useful to individuals with disability and way forward, has been organized by Dr. MGR Institute of Special Education and Research and Dr. MGR Home and High Secondary School for the speech and hearing impaired. To commemorate the 35th Founders' Day on the 109th birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna, Dr. MGR. On this occasion, we have with us Rotarian Mr. Ranjit Pratap, Managing Director, Rayala Corporation Private Limited, to preside over. He is Chairman of the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, Southern Region, Chairman, Historical Cars Association of India, and Chairman, Rance Auto Museum Foundation, Chennai. He is a member and past president of Rotary Club of Madras. As Director and Managing Director of Manufacturing Units, Mr. Ranjit Pratap has initiated the production of several products that include those requiring high-level precision. Rialto Engineering, which was started by Rotarian Pratap, in 2010 has also initiated the defense business and supplies parts for light machine guns to the Ordnance Factory, presently to Ordnance Factory. In 2019, Mr. Ranjit Pratap started a joint venture with Car Lane Increment Incorporation, USA, to manufacture aerospace components and supplies a large portion to Cars Lane USA and also to the domestic aerospace market. Mr. Ranjit Pratap is also a keen sportsman, playing tennis and horseback riding. He is also interested in swimming and yoga. He is a collector of classic cars and has been a member of various forums involved in the historical cars and their restoration. He is also the president of Historical Cars Association of India, committee member of the Madras Heritage Motoring Club, and vice president of Federation of Historical Vehicle Association of India. He has won many accolades by participating in national and international shows in India for his classic cars. He is one of the largest collectors of classic cars in South India. Reading of all matters in general and business matters in particular interests him. He is a connoisseur of music, classical and modern, especially Western music. I'm extremely happy to welcome such an interesting person of vitality and versatility. Mr. Ranjit Pratap, being instrumental in incorporation of manufacturing companies and innovative products, is the ideal person to preside over today's seminar. On behalf of all of us here, I extend a warm and hearty welcome to you, sir. Many thanks to Rotarian Ravi Sundaresan, also from Rotary Club of Madras, who has accompanied our chief guest. Rotarian S. Ravi Sundaresan is a candidate for District Governor, Rotary International District 3234, Rotary year 2028-29. Welcome you, sir. My warm welcome to the distinguished resource persons. Professor Rangasai is a leading expert in disability rehabilitation who has sown the seed for today's seminar. We gratefully welcome him. He is joining us from Canada. My hearty welcome to Mr. T.A.P. Balduguti, who's always been a well-wisher and is always present for all our seminars on 17th of January. Dr. Sanjay Barba, Professor and Head Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, AIMS, New Delhi, who has agreed to give the keynote address. Welcome, sir. I am happy that Professor Dr. K. Utticheriyan, Emeritus Professor, Gandhigram Rural Institute, former Vice Chancellor, Periyar University, Salem, has joined us to share his experiences and deliver a special address. Dr. Adish K. Abraham, Dean and Professor, All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, Mysore. Mrs. Kalpana Rao, Deputy Director, Vidyasagar, Chennai. Dr. Shripriya, Regional Director, National Institute of Visual and Chennai. Dr. Nachiketa Rao, Director, National Institute of Empowerment of Persons with Multiple Disability. And Dr. Bharati Kaushik, Professor, NCRT. All of them will be speaking on very relevant issues, and we look forward to gaining every piece of wisdom that will lead us to an inclusive society. Thank you and pleasant deliberations.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm words of welcome. I now request our dear students to felicitate our chief guest for the day, Mr. Ranjit Pratap, Managing Director and a Corporation Private Limited. Thank you, sir. Dr. Sanjay Bhargav, Professor and Head, Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, AIMS New Delhi. Thank you, sir. Professor Dr. K. Muthucheri, former Vice Chancellor, Rayala University, Salem. David Ravi Sundaresan. Thank you, sir. We now move on to the presentation of David Ravi Sundaresan. Thank you, sir. We now move on to the presentation of Mr. D.A.B. Ravi. Thank you, dignitaries and my dear students. This seminar on standardization of products useful of individuals with disability and the way forward addresses the subjects that lies at the intersection of technology, human rights, social responsibility, and inclusive development. Today, when we speak of progress and innovation, it is essential to ask a fundamental question: progress for whom? For individuals with disabilities, access to safe, reliable, and usable products is not a matter of convenience, it is a matter of dignity, independence, and equal participation in society. The purpose of this seminar is to highlight the need of standardization in products designed for individuals with disabilities. At present, many assistive and accessibility products such as mobility aids, hearing devices, learning tools, digital interfaces, and daily use equipment vary widely in quality, design, and safety. Standardization ensures consistency, safety, compatibility, and usability. It provides a framework through which products can meet minimum quality benchmarks while remaining adaptable to diverse needs. More importantly, standardization helps bridge the gap between innovation and evolution. This seminar also recognizes that individuals with disabilities are not passive beneficiaries, they are key stakeholders whose life experiences must inform product design, testing, evaluation. Inclusion cannot be achieved without their voices being heard and respected. Throughout today's session, We will explore existing national and international standards, discuss challenges in implementation, and examine case studies that demonstrate both success and limitations. We will also reflect on the roles played by policymakers, manufacturers, educators, healthcare professionals, and civil society in shaping inclusive solutions. As we move forward, the seminar emphasizes the way forward. This includes adopting universal design principles, strengthening regulatory frameworks, promoting affordability, encouraging research and innovation, and fostering collaboration across sectors. The future of standardization must be flexible, participatory, and responsive to emerging technologies and evolving needs. This seminar is not merely a platform for discussion, it is a call to action. Let us work actively to ensure the standardization becomes a tool for empowerment rather than exclusion. By doing so, we can move closer to a society where accessibility is not an afterthought but a fundamental right. With these thoughts, I once again welcome you all and look forward for a meaningful and effective deliberation. May I now request Mr. Ranjit Pratap for the inaugural address.
Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries on the dais, friends, and my dear students and elders who form a part of this disabled facilities of physically challenged forum. At the outset, my heartfelt thanks to Lata Madam for giving me this opportunity to be the chief guest at the celebration of the anniversary of our late Dr.MGR, who was a unique personality, unparalleled, who could, or I would say, the Robin Hood of the poor. Robin Hood in Tamil, they translated it. Robin Hood means who champions the cause of the poor and the needy. There were two matinee agents at the time, Mrs. Swaninage and Dr.MGR. Both had different styles of operations. I'm going to leave the technical aspects on the standardization and other aspects to the experts who are going to talk to you. But I thought in my speech, I will tell some small stories, because sometimes stories are very interesting. To give you a background of myself, I think Lata Madam has already read out to you. We belong to the family of the Rayala group. My father started industries 100 years ago in Chennai. Though we belong to the state of Andhra, we have inculcated Tamil as a part of our culture and language. Because I grew up in Tamil Nadu, my father grew up in Tamil Nadu, my grandfather also grew up in Tamil Nadu. We migrated 20 years ago from Rayala. That is why our country is called Rayala. My father was an ardent admirer of arts and culture. And so he admired, apart from being a great industrialist, the aspects of drama, culture, and film exhibition also. He was one of the pioneers in exhibiting movies in the small town of Tirupati in the late 50s. Those days, Tirupati did not have a theatre, they had only touring towns. So due to his flair for culture and the love for cinema, he started one theater in 1957 and went on to add another 3 or 4 theaters. Thereby, he came in contact with producers, actors, and also artists, others other than singers and songwriters. So, in this connection, he knew most of the actors of his films, especially very fondly. We recall the introduction he had with Dr. Ramchandran in early 60s through his lawyer friend, Mr. N.C. Raghvachari. N.C. Raghvachari was the advocate for M.G. Ramachandran, and my father was the mentor for N.C. Raghvachari. So, in that connection, he introduced him in 1962, and from then they had or developed a fond liking and relationship with each other. So when Mr. Maran wanted to shoot a film in 1965 under the banner of Rayala Pictures, because the name of the film was Engal. I must have been about 12 or 13 years old when I was in school. And at the time, Dr. M.D. Ramchandran was a very famous actor. And as young children and young boys, we had a flair and a gigantic impression about our mentor, Mr. M.G. Ramchandran, who was not only my hero, but he was the hero of all the young boys in school and colleges. We never missed a movie of our great leader. Reason was very simple. As boys, we liked to fight good over evil, and our mentor, Dr. Ramachandran, was doing this, propagating this in his actions and in the films what he acted. As I said, as a Robin Hood, as the savior and the partnering, fostering of the poor and downtrodden, he was an iconic figure for the young minds. Because we were brought up with very great values of integrity, honesty, and discipline. He was one person who championed this cause because as a young man, as a young boy, he went through such hardships and suffered a lot. And he was the sole breadwinner for his family. And he knew what hardship was, how it was so difficult to earn a living and bring up his family. So he wanted to set examples and plant impressions in the young minds, what they should do, how they should do, how they should conduct themselves, and how they should be fair play in life, discipline, honesty, and hard work. So with these aspects, he influenced not only me, but many youngsters like me. So when he came to my house, when Mr. Maran requested my father that he would like to take a shoot in a swimming pool, and it was Dr. M.D. Ramchandran and Jayalalitha. It was one of our first few new movies, I think. She was my senior in school. She was my sister's classmate, so I knew her. But I always wanted to go meet our idol, M.G. Ramchandran, whom we fondly called as Vajra. So, fortunately for us, that day, it was a cloudy day, and those days we had to wait for the sunlight to come out because it was a song sequence which has to be shot. And normally song sequence doesn't complete in one day, it takes 2 days. But since the weather was not very conducive, it was not raining, but it was cloudy, waiting for the sunlight to come out. We didn't have bright lights to penetrate the daylight. So we used to wait for, they used to wait for the sun, full bright sunlight, and they had reflectors on this, reflecting on the faces of the actors and actresses. So when there was no light, they had to wait. So both Jayalalitha and M.G. Ramchandran were sitting under the tree, chatting, trying to while away the time. And when I came back from school, on the second day I still saw them there waiting for, they did some shots when the sun was up, but they had to wait because the song was long. So I went up to him, mustered my courage, and went up to him and said, "Sir, Pratap sir is Swami sir. My name is Ranjit. I was 12 or 13 years old." He was, I think, a little bit of an introvert at the time. He was a little bit shy. Anger, Vanakkam, few words, nothing much. But that was enough to inflate my ego. I was so happy that I had a small tidbit chat with him. And we didn't have cameras that day to ask someone to take a picture and things like that. But in my heart and soul, I was so happy that I could speak to him. I could sit next to him and have a small dinner. So these were the first impressions as a child of M.G. Ramchandran sir. And as I grew up, my fondness for him grew because he was not only a champion of the downtrodden, the have-nots, but he also set examples of how life should be led. He was a leader and he led from the front. When he took over as the chief minister, the first thing he did was to ensure that he gave. And he started giving right till the time he died. I heard from Lata Madam that in his will, he had willed that this place should be made into a school for this hearing and speech impaired students, children, and adults also. Another deviation I'll do here and tell you, my father, my family were also in philanthropy. My grandfather started charity begins at home, and he took care of all the workers from 1919 to 1956 into this business. He started schools, he brought in a lot of good teachers, he trained the teachers and did a lot for his community, Padma Dharma community. My great granduncle, Raja of Hubli, was also the chief minister of Madras province at the time for 3 years, from 1936 to 39. So, philanthropy was in our DNA, was in our blood. My granduncle, my father forged together and did a lot of charity and good for the community. and for the have-nots. So my father, when he started the joint venture with a Swedish company called Halda, to make typewriters, the Swedish ambassador called him in one day in 1963 and said, Pratap, can you identify a place where we can start something for the leprosy patients? So the leprosy patients at that time were in a region called below Kakpadi. He took my father there and said, we have to do something. We have a fund from the Swedish Red Cross. So in 1964, they started a small institute for the leprosy patients, housed them in the hostels, small little sheds they built, brought them into the mainstream and teach them skills. At that time, leprosy patients were very deformed. They had no proper hands and their organs, everything were fine, but physically they were really challenged. So my father took this responsibility, starting a small institute in Kalpati, and then brought in other industrialists who could support how to bring these people into the mainstream, to teach them skills first and bring them on to do work and bring dignity into their lives. There was a very charming, young, brilliant engineer at the time whom my father interviewed, called Mr. Anthony Smalley. And there were 3-4 other European gentlemen who, one was a doctor, one was a manufacturer of Wipco, another Swedish company in Chennai. All 3 of them started putting money to make this institute bigger and stronger. Mr. Anthony Swami from Trichy was brought in, and we should admire him. He is now 90 years old, he's still living, he's retired. But the kind of enthusiasm for him to take on this responsibility is unbelievable. Today, Swedish Red Cross, which we started in 1964, is called World Trust. It is in Karpati. So initially we started bringing the leprosy patients into the mainstream, and my father gave them machinery to make certain components for our own factory and supply to our factory. This is a very interesting thing which I should tell you here. So when the components came to our factory, our workers, we had about 350 to 400 workers in early 60s. They all refused to touch those components. They said these are brought from the leprosy patients in Karpati. We will not touch it because at those days they had an impression that leprosy is something contagious. We proved to them it is not, but it was very difficult to convince them. The workers were reluctant, my father was stubborn. So finally what happened, there was a big strike. They stopped work and they stopped accepting the parts from worth it was from Karpati. Turned and given to us the metal part, turned and given to us in machines by the leprosy patients. My father said, you can go on strike, but I will still not give it. That was his condition. So there was a strike for 1 week, and he stuck to his guns, and he never relented. Thereafter, with a lot of persuasion and doctors coming and imparting knowledge to the people on the floor, workers, saying that this is not contagious. In spite of that, we gave them gloves to handle these components. We washed them several times and gave it. I'm just trying to make an impression to all of you that there are a few people who can stand by these kind of concepts and ideas. But now it's different. People are accepted disabilities and are wanting disabilities to increase in their shop floor. It is quite sad that in Tamil Nadu, I find in the last few years, the disability issues are not coming forward to join the mainstream workforce. We started a school with the help of my dear friend Ravi Sundaresan in Rotary a few years back with work trust to train the disability personnel, students. But unfortunately, the disability sector, we are trying to mobilize, especially in the Tirunelveli region, because our institute is Mudipoti. We are not able to attract. We are only getting people who want to do gardening, some odd jobs, but they don't want to get into the mainstream like learning skills, high-end skills. So we are now moving to Andhra Pradesh to see if we can get some people from there. It's a very sad thing for our state, but unfortunately people got enticed by looking at the software industry, the IT industry, and trying to see how we can get some kind of a job there. I can tell you today, we can get a dime a dozen people for IT and other hardware industries. But to get good trained people in the mechanical aspect, like mechatronics, like machining, like welders, it is very difficult. And we pay 4 times the salary of what others pay for these kind of activities. But it's unfortunate that the current generation of people with disability want a very happy, busy life. I'm not saying they should not have, but they should take up challenges. The very fact God has been a little unkind to them does not mean they're out of the mainstream. Every person among all of us, able and disabled, are equal in the eyes of law, in the eyes of the great God. It is our desire and good that we should do something in life with what God has impaired in our system. It's very easy to say, why me? Disabled person should never say so. It can happen to anybody at any point of time. Even a healthy man can walk on the road, some car can hit him and he can become disabled. So it is just a fate. It is the act of God which has made a person disabled. He is a part of our system. He will always be a part of the system, and he will be brought into the mainstream by people like us. Today, a lot of my friends in Sri City and also in Chennai are looking to have a percentage of their workforce on the floor with disabilities. Disability can be in any form, like hearing impaired, speech impaired, blindness, like a crippled polio can be a disability. So we should view this in the context of how we have to take the disability along with us and merge them into the mainstream. In this regard, I should really admire courage, conviction and determination of Nathan Madam in doing such a wonderful job of what I have just seen now. I can tell you, I've been the chairman of Work Trust for almost 10 years, and I know how difficult We have a school for the blind, we have a school for the speech impaired, we have a school for the autism, we have school for the crippled, we have school for the physically challenged, we house them in hostels. It is not an easy task. And I not only admire Lata Madam and her son Kumar for initiating this, but my salutations to the teachers. I just saw some teachers with such passion and enthusiasm, which I must only say, I don't have words to say how my heart feels and goes for them. Without the teachers, we cannot complete our program, our vision to bring them into the mainstream. They always say you need two hands to clap, and one of the major hands to bring both hands and make a sound is the other hand, which is the teachers. My desire and wish that the disability should not be seen as an outcast or as a section where we should just discard them and keep them aside. I want every one of the disabled section to say, you have seen my disability, but you have not seen my ability. That should be the slogan. Because I always notice when God closes a window, He opens not one, but He opens two or maybe three also. There are skills for disabled people which even a normal human being cannot imagine. So if he is disabled and if he thinks that my life is finished, I would never accept it. The life is full. Maybe he's got an extra energy in him to bring forth his skills. And we, the teachers, and we, the mentors, should bring this aspect into the forefront and sharpen their edge. We are like sharpeners for a blunt pencil. We should do this and ensure that we bring these disabled or physically challenged people into the mainstream. I strive hard for that. All the time I'm talking to various forums why we are not able to bring the disabilities together and bring them into the mainstream. I really admire to have some 200 plus students here, and the kind of work, even the food is so specially done and the care is so wonderful. My wish and my prayer is that this institution, the seed sown by the great soul, should flourish and become into a life, should blossom into a beautiful school, imparting skills for the physically challenged, and not only bring them into the mainstream, but send them far and wide and bring us a lot of fame. World Trust has started making equipments for the disabled. We make tricycles, we make walkers, we make crutches, we make various aids like mobility aids. We do hearing, we buy hearing aids, of course, from Siemens and other companies, which are more affordable now than what it was before. We have special classes for special schools and also special aids where we have for the disability. I'm sure Lata Madam has come and visited our institute in Katpadi. My son is on the committee now because after a certain age we have to retire. So the youngsters are leading this forum now. They're doing a great job. They will still continue to do. And we would love to collaborate with Lata Madam School here and take this forward because we have the skills over the last 60 years and we are well versed how to do these kind of things. Thank you very much. And I wish you all many thanks for participating. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable address and also taking us down your memory lane. Thank you once again, sir. There's a day in honor to introducing a towering figure in the field of physical medicine and rehabilitation, Dr. Sanjay.